Disclaimer: this video is not meant to harass you for your beliefs in any way possible. Thank you for clicking on this video. The Leviathan from the Bible has many different interpretations of what people imagine it to be. Some people say that it's a crocodile. Some people say that it's something like a Sarcosuchus imperador, Chronosaurus, Plesiosaurus. Some even say that it's a whale. However, me personally, I believe, after hearing the description, I personally think that this creature is far more powerful than that. And in this video, I'm going to cover what I believe the Leviathan could have looked like if it ever did exist. And as you guys heard from the description, remember, this video is not meant to harass you for your beliefs in any way possible. That is not my intent. And if you're still watching, thank you so much. And yeah, what is up, everybody? It's your host Inferno back for a new video. And in today's episode, I am going to be creating my realistic Leviathan. As you guys remember from the last Leviathan video that I created, I stated that I was going to create a realistic Leviathan. And well, here it is. It took me over 4 months of research to do this. So yeah. If you want to show your support for the channel, then please subscribe. It helps out a ton. It's completely free. And yeah, try and hit 50 subscribers by the end of the year. If you know, you know. Let's continue. Thank you. So, starting off with the description. In Job chapter 14, in Job chapter 41 and 42, it states that it has extremely powerful armor, rows of shields as it describes it, so tightly sealed together that not even air can pass between them. It also states in like 12 different sentences that it breathes fire. It also is described as being a beast of the sea, extremely powerful, intelligent, malicious, and yeah, it is also stated to have reptilian-esque features. So it is most likely Reptilia class. And with all of that, I am happy to introduce you to the most realistic Leviathan model created to date. Introducing the realistic Leviathan. Here he is in all of his glory. He's got powerful limbs, powerful jaws, powerful flames, powerful armor. Everything about this creature is powerful. This is the most realistic Leviathan to date. Thank you for watching. Except it's not. You see, there are many flaws with this design. And while some people in the comment section are gonna put, but Inferno, you stick to the description, so it's alright. Well, it's not. Because, firstly, biologically, this thing would die within like 5 minutes of existing. With armor that heavy and that spiky, it is going to cause huge amounts of drag, and it will cause it to be very slow. And also, legs are not the best thing to use when swimming. However, there is a way to make this biologically accurate. And as you guys can see, there's still a huge amount of time left in this video. So, let's dive a little deeper, shall we? Starting off with how this creature would likely move. Firstly, the Leviathan would probably have fins similar to that of a Mosasaurus or Tylosaurus. And this actually makes a ton of sense because Mosasaurus ancestors originate from animals such as the Komodo dragon, Nile monitor, creatures like that. And they adapted to live in the ocean to have fins. So this creature would actually make a ton of sense to have fins. However, the Bible also states that it can walk on land because it states that it leaves a trail in the mud, and mud is found on land. So, yeah. And we're going to have to turn to wyvern dragons. And I know dragons are not real, so how are you going to make that work? You'll see. Well, it's because the dragons will have this thing's fins will also double as legs by having like claws, I guess. So now this thing can move on land and in water. But what about the air? Yes, you heard me right, the air. Because the Bible in Isaiah chapter 26 or 27, I can never remember, maybe 29, I don't know. Somewhere in between there. And it describes it as the gliding serpent. Keyword gliding. So it is likely that this animal could glide through the air. And to that, we are going to have to turn to animals such as the gliding snake. And the reason that they are able to glide is because they flatten out their rib cage to make themselves pretty much their own personal parachute, which is extremely cool. And in order to keep their leverage, they slither in an S shape in order to keep them in the air. However, this realistic Leviathan would not have to slither in an S shape. Why? Well, you see, its fins would provide all the leverage that it needs in order to stay in the air. But let's make it better, shall we? And by adding a way to steer, how can we do this? Two things. Firstly, a tail fin, and also a sail. Yep, you heard me right. The sail will also come into another huge factor, and I'll state that later. But the tail fin is a given. It can use it to steer to the right or to the left, and the sail also provides the same reasoning. However, the sail also serves as a double meaning because also serves another purpose. Sorry, because it can heat up its body much faster with this sail. And this is important because it is of reptilian class. At least that's what the Bible describes it as. So, it would likely use this sail to heat up its body even faster and not be vulnerable to any other predators in the vicinity. So, yeah, that is extremely cool. And now, onto possibly the coolest feature of this creature, fire breathing. And I know, the only similar case of this ever occurring in nature is with the bombardier beetle that shoots burning liquid at your face. And the dragon would breathe, this creature would breathe in a similar fashion by having a gas chamber stored in its throat where it stores some kind of flammable gas, and then a chamber next to it, that when the pressure is released from that chamber, it would cause the gas to ignite, kind of like a flamethrower. So that would mean that the way to kill this Leviathan would be by shooting a flaming arrow in its mouth before the gas could leave its throat. And How to Train Your Dragon, of all things, actually got this right in their dragon designs. Because, as you can see, before a dragon breathes fire, you can see green gas at the back of their throat. And that is how they killed the Red Death, by igniting the gas before it could leave the dragon's throat. So, yeah, How to Train Your Dragon, props to you. And, yeah, that is how this realistic Leviathan would breathe fire. Another cool feature is that this thing could probably talk. And that's talk in quotes, because I'm not sure if it could actually talk. Most people think that this is just a metaphor, because in the Bible it states that this thing laughs at the rattling of the lance. So, it could be just a metaphor, but I want to make this video cool. And so, in order to do this, the speech, it would probably have extremely advanced vocal cords, something similar to a parrot. Because apparently birds are related to reptiles, this is actually extremely possible. So yeah, we covered that. And lastly, we need to cover the brain. So, the way that this thing would think is crazy. And the way this thing thinks is malicious, because if it laughs at the rattling of the lance, it knows what fear is, it knows what weapons are, and this actually works perfectly in its favor, because think of orcas and chimps. They're pretty aggressive, and they're extremely intelligent, which is because the more malicious animals with more evil intentions are usually the ones with higher IQ. And yeah, that is all for the description. This thing would weigh over 4 to 5 tons, and it would be at a length of 60 to 65 feet on average, at least for a male. And with all that, I am happy to now release the most realistic Leviathan to date. Introducing the Titus Serpens Moors, the most realistic Leviathan ever created. Let me know what you think about him in the comments section. Let me know if you think he's cool, if you think he's overrated, and let me know some flaws that you may have found. And that is all for this video today, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, or Titus Serpens Moors will be under your bed tonight. Peace.